Well, I'm Bryson. This is Bree, James, and Daniel. So I was born and raised here in Newport. Lived here 23 years, 24 years. And I got a job, shipped me down to Lake Village. Didn't know anybody, didn't know the area, didn't know what it was at all until I moved down there. I got a camper, moved to a trailer park, and met this little redhead.
I think I could say it was love at first sight, at least on my end. And we met in the laundromat one day at this trailer park and got to know each other quite a bit over the next, month and a half. And then we kind of parted ways for a little while, and we still kind of connected off and on, but we really never dated or anything like that. And then,
So let's get back a little bit. I grew up in church, around church, went to VBS's, Awanas, different stuff like that, but I was not saved by any stretch of the imagination. I knew God and I knew Jesus. I guess you could say I knew what He did, I just didn't care. And so I moved to Lake Village and met her, and she was total opposite. Her family grew up around church, loved the Lord, everything about Him. Amazing as far as Christians in that aspect of it, where I was not.
Very true. Yeah, so it took about 3 years for him to finally see the light.
She ain't talking about her, she's talking about the Lord.
Yeah, yes. His partner was actually key in bringing him to the Lord. They became really good friends, and they were coming to our church, and they convinced Bryson to come to church with them. And in one of the services, the Lord really got a hold of Bryson and touched him in a way that he'd never experienced before. And so from that moment on, it was like he couldn't get enough. And so me, on the other hand, I've been, involved in this church, and I'm singing on stage, and I'm, knee deep in it, and I see this change happen in him. And the following Sunday, he surprises everyone and decides to get baptized. And he didn't want I don't guess he wanted anybody to know, because nobody had a clue. And he came walking out, and I bawled my eyes out, because I had been praying for him over those years in hopes that he would find a relationship with Christ, and that God would somehow bring him back to me. And so that happened, and it was kind of like a moment where God was like, yep, I got you. It may have taken a little while, but here he comes. And then we started dating 6 months later, and then in 4 months, 4.5 months?
Yeah, we started dating in December. I asked her dad if we could start dating. February, we got engaged. In April, we got married, because once the Lord saved me, He said, I put her there all along. She's yours. Go ahead. I didn't figure there was any time to be waiting around wasting. So, yeah, and that's how we came to be. About 9 months after that, here comes the first one. And definitely wasn't prepared for that, but the Lord blessed us. And at that time, her parents lived down there, so we had family. But then shortly after, her parents moved to Northwest Arkansas. And so that left us down there without a family. And I say air quotes a family, because we had a family. They were in the church. There's several people at Lake Village that went to our church, and some that didn't, really impacted and shaped us and our marriage and our family. And they were our family down there, still are. I mean, that's what they are to us as a family. But it was a great time. That's how, growing up, I lived 12 miles from this place. At any point, I never visited the ministry, never visited John 3:16. Wasn't involved, but I wasn't saved. I didn't live for the Lord. So got down there, got involved with 316. Went to all their fundraisers, got involved, and so when we decided we were going to move back here, I had told her, I said, we've got to find you some women, that way you can stay plugged in, because she had a bunch down there that she loved and supported and leaned on, and I said, we got to find that up here. And I said, I think we know the place. I think I know what it is. And so we went to a fundraiser. I believe the first one was in Stuttgart.
I think so.
David and Marsha Dotson and us went to a fundraiser in Stuttgart for 17. That was the first thing we went to. I actually got a pistol. So. And but then we went to the race. Had a big race and went to that. And then fast forward to that fall, we get our transfer papers. Hey, you're coming back home. And so we get our transfer papers coming up here, and I said, well, we'll go. I said, we know 16 and we know 17. I said, so we'll go to both of those churches. We'll go back and forth, and we'll find time to visit other churches. We'll look around, because I knew some of them, and I know people here because my whole family's here. I said, and we'll look around and find some people. Well, we come here, and go on. We'll come here and visit back and forth, but we'll go look around. Well, 7 months later, we're still here. We ain't never left. We come and we got involved in the church, got involved in 17, met the girls, and it was like, you're home. You found what you needed. She found a bunch of women she can hang out with and talk with and do life with and figure out how to deal with this crazy world. And I found a bunch of women that get on my nerves, and I get on their nerves too.